Okay, guys, it's Tim Lewinberg from Kangaroo Island. This is my Pekakucha talk on trauma. Now, you guys are all familiar with damage control resuscitation. You can manage the traumatic airway. You're familiar with massive transfusion protocols. All of this is exciting stuff and it's important. But look, one of the things I want to talk about is trauma prevention. I was inspired by Karim Brohi. I spoke to him about 5 years ago in Melbourne, and he was telling me about the importance about not being the ambulance at the bottom of the cliff, that as trauma doctors we need to think about prevention, not just cure. So you guys know me. I live on Kangaroo Island. It's Australia's third largest island. It's very popular with international and interstate tourists, and they come here to see native wildlife and enjoy the unspoilt natural beauty of our beaches and our national parks. It all sounds wonderful, and indeed it is, until disaster strikes. Our roads are high crash risk. They're unsealed, they allow high speeds, the surface is like ball bearings. The roadside is lined with trees and native scrub, and within that lives wildlife, which often ventures on the road. So this poses a danger to tourists. So what happens? Well, wildlife vehicle collisions, of course. People see a kangaroo or a goanna or an echidna, and naturally they swerve to avoid it. And that's all laudable, but unfortunately it can have catastrophic injuries and damage to vehicles. This is a snippet from the local paper. This would just be one weekend over Christmas, and over $100,000 worth of damage, 4 separate wildlife vehicle crashes. Is it a local problem? Well, yes, in part. Along with Tasmania, Kangaroo Island has abundant native wildlife, but of course it's a problem throughout the country in Australia. And the injuries can be massive. Often these are high-speed rollovers. There's head injuries, there's maxillofacial injuries, there's cervical spine injuries. And as rural doctors, we have to package these people for transfer to the mainland. It's stressful, it's time-consuming, and it's preventable. Now, there is a problem in interpreting crash statistics. A lot of crashes in the country are recorded as losing control or hitting a roadside object. But often the culprit is wildlife on the road, but it's not always reflected. Now, I'm lucky on Kangaroo Island. I can go through the hospital records. I'm both the local doctor and also the emergency doctor. So when I arrived in 2004, I went back and looked at the previous 5 years' data. The yellow bars are motor vehicle crashes or collisions, and the blue are those where wildlife is implicated. It's the vast majority of crashes. It's over 50%. So what to do? Well, roadkill recipes was the idea. This was a cookbook for visitors to Kangaroo Island, showcasing our native wildlife, but with a serious road safety message underneath. What sort of stuff did we put out? Well, we cooked up native wildlife and we showed it off in a variety of different ways. And look, this was a huge hit with the tourists. They bought them in bulk, and as a consequence, we were able to get across an important road safety message, namely to slow the hell down and enjoy the wildlife. That's what you come here to see. So people see road signs warning about wildlife crossing across most of Australia. Now that's all very well and good, but it's much better if the message can be embedded with important road safety messages about slowing down, about cadence braking, about what to do if you do hit a kangaroo. So these are important messages put across in a jokey theme. Did it work? Well, the book came out in 2005, and you can see a reduction in the total number of motor vehicle crashes since. I've now got 10 years worth of data on Kangaroo Island, and there's a significant reduction. Concomitant with that is a reduction in the number of crashes involving wildlife. So it seems to be working. There are flow-on benefits. The books cost us a couple of dollars each to make, and we'll sell them for $20. So we can put the money back into education. These are wildlife stickers that you'll see on the bumpers of most of the Kangaroo Island drivers, and the message is now really embedded across our community to slow down and stay alert for wildlife. So this is classic primary care. It's about prevention, not about cure. This could be applied to other small communities across Australia, and I'd encourage you, of whatever ilk, as a doctor, to think about prevention. What can you do to prevent people ending up in your ED or your ICU. Now, from a personal perspective, this means quiet nights for me. I'm not up scraping people off the road. I'm not having to deal with them in my resus bay, and generally life is a lot easier. I sleep a lot better. There's also benefits for the wildlife. Conservation biology is important. People want to see native wildlife. And of course, my wife, who is a conservation biologist, the old maxim, happy wife, happy life, she's very happy. We've spent the past few years caring for orphaned wildlife. This is a young lad called Boo, and of course, her being happy keeps me in the country as a country doctor. So it's win-win. So, this is classic primary care. It's not all coughs, colds, and wandering through the bush with your little doctor's bag. We can actually make a difference in trauma prevention. And to me, I think that's important. Hopefully you guys will question your practice and see if there's things that you can do to prevent trauma in your location. Thank you very much indeed.